Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Women's Equality Day. How are you? Come on into the room. Come on into the room. Come on into the room. I just want to make sure that we are live over here on all our platforms. So, welcome if you're joining us across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Cityscape Radio. I am so glad to be here with you guys this evening. I am the Nicole Johnson, founder of Wealthy Women Lifestyle, where I teach women to define and achieve their goal of financial freedom so that they can begin to live life on their own terms. And I'm excited about tonight's topic because it's all about us. See, Wealthy Women Lifestyle. Yes, thank you to my new designer, Butterfly Kisses. They've started doing some designs for me, and this is one of the first samples that they sent me. And I am super excited to be sporting and upgrading our brand. And listen, it's a beautiful day to be a woman, right? It's a beautiful day to be a woman. And before I go any further, I have a special guest joining me tonight. Let me come on and bring her up to the stage. Hey, Leanne. Hey, Sugar. How you
Hey,
doing?
boo, hey.
Hey, boo. Hey. Listen, we have not been together on screen for a while. How are you, my
Oh,
dear?
it's been over a year, I think.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
been great. I have been
Yes.
great.
Yes. Do me a favor. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell them all about what's that beautifulness going on over there.
Yes. Well, hey, boos. Hey, I'm Leanne Dulce, your Chief Self Love Officer at Wake Up Happy Sis. I also host the show on KCCR Cityscape Radio called the Wake Up Happy Sis Show. You can find me and my co host, Sharonda Sealy, every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm also a self care strategist and a wellness coach. I'm really here because my mission is to help a million women, yes, a million Black women, live happy, healing, and fulfilling lives by learning how to put themselves first. So, I always like to kick it with my girl Nicole. Especially when we're talking about women's stuff. I'm not gonna cuss today. I told myself I wasn't gonna cuss today, and I almost messed up real quick.
Well, listen, I am always about us. And in this day and time, especially, it is really a trying time. And so, on Women's Equality Day, the theme for this whole entire week is developing mental toughness for the challenges ahead. And so, that is, self care is a part of that. Women supporting each other, sometimes being your own best cheerleader is all a part of that. And the reason that I wanted to kick it off this week, Leanne, is because inside of my community, the Wealthy Women Lifestyle Facebook group, we are doing a full 30-day no spend challenge. And inside of that, yes, honey, we're going to use this resource, the 21-day financial fast. Now, when I tell them a month long savings challenge. Let me correct that. We're doing a savings challenge and we're going to couple it with the 21-day financial fast. They always panic. They always panic. And let me say this. If I tell you, Leanne, you got 24 hours in a day, that don't sound like a lot, right? But when I tell you, Leanne, you have 1,440 minutes in the course of a day. And all I want you to do is take 30 to 60 for yourself. Does that feel different? Does it sound
Oh,
different?
definitely.
Okay, so it's really all about perspective. It goes back to the old adage of the glass half full or half empty. It's
Hmm.
all about perspective. And so I'm not going to get into any type of political discussion, but as you know, we have a Black woman running for the top office in the US of A. Okay. And my personal experience, baby, I'm being tested. Okay. I am being tested. It is coming out of the woodworks. You are starting to see, at least I am starting to see how people really feel. And so around election time, especially for the presidential seat, you really get to see people's true colors. You might see shades of gray along the terms, but when it's time for the races to run, you really get to see, and people say they might not be as bold, right?
Mm.
They might throw little innuendos out there, but then you got some that really just let it all hang out. So, as a woman, as a Black woman, we are going to be tested over the next few months. All right. And I want you to be prepared not only for what you're going to experience or may experience around you in the workplace, in your home, in networking spaces, but also within yourself. Okay. When we think back, Leanne, if I think back to the stories that we hear of women who have forged a path for leadership, for American first, in science, in math, for me in the money space, which is a male dominated space, I can only imagine what they have had to go through, and they have needed mental toughness. So we've got some viewers on here. Please do say hello. I'm going to drop in the chat our Facebook group. It's our that's the if you are not following us or subscribe to the channel, I want you to make sure you get there. But I also want you to join us in the Wealthy Women Lifestyle Facebook group so that I can support you over there, because support is so extremely important. So, Leanne, I'm gonna ask you a question before I go off on my own little personal tangent, because you know I can.
Right.
If you had to look at a personal experience that challenged you to develop your mental toughness, can you give us a scenario and just tell us what you did?
I would say when I was in college, I was a sophomore in college, and I'm pregnant. I ain't married. I damn sure ain't married, right? And I'm having to go to school, go to work, still help take care of the other children in my family who are with me all the time, and figure out how to navigate the world when I'm looked like as a statistic, right? Fast forward to actually having a child. She was born 2.5 months early. So she was in neonatal intensive care. And I would say the real challenge came trying to juggle having a child that's in intensive care while you still have to get up and go back to school. I didn't take time off. I was in the middle of a semester. I was in the middle of a quarter. And I had to figure out how to do all that mostly alone. Yeah. Because I didn't live with my family. I lived in, me and my sister lived together at that point. But trying to figure out and how to navigate having a child that's in intensive care while going to school full time, while trying to help and take care of other kids in your family, while still trying to act like you have a bit of a life, because you're only 20. 20, you know what I mean? There were a lot of times I wanted to quit. A lot of times, like I'm moving from my sister's house into public housing because that's all I could afford. I was a starving student. So trying to navigate that as a young person, I feel for a lot of women or a lot of young women who get put in that same situation. But what it forces you to do is either you're going to rise or you're going to fall. If you're going to rise to the challenge and rise to the occasion, like so many other Black women have had to do, because we don't have resources that we can rely on. Right? Yeah. So I had to rise to that occasion. I couldn't flunk out of college. I couldn't give my child up,
Right.
So I would say that was one of the tougher times in my life, is having to figure that all out on my own, because there wasn't a lot of other people that I could go to, honestly, at that time, that didn't look at me different because I had a child all of a sudden. Not the fact that I'm in college, not the fact that um, I'm excelling in college, right?
Mm.
Like, even after, like, when I graduated high school, I didn't have I had like a 3.5 GPA, 3.37, I think. Coming out of I was excelling until I had that kid. I
Mm-hmm.
barely, you know what I mean? I barely made it through college, but baby, I made it.
But you made it. So let me ask you this, because I heard you almost quit, but you didn't. And so, what was the skill set that you had to tap into that kept you moving forward?
I wouldn't even say it's a skill set per se. I looked at my grandmother, who was a school teacher, my great grandmother, who she owned her own cab, so she was an entrepreneur, and the other women that I was lucky to have, like my grandma's friends and stuff, um, that I just saw resilience, right? And resilience isn't necessarily a skill.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but it isn't. You know what I mean?
I get it. I get
Um,
it.
I would say resilience. I would say having to learn how to be organized and structured, right? Realizing, especially when you have a small child, you have to put that child on a schedule or you'll never get anything done, right? Realizing that you have to build up trust, because now I have to trust people with my child. I have to trust in friend, like my daughter, Michael, she grew up on the college campus. I literally sometimes had to take her to school with me, and I would leave her in the study hall with other people, and they knew, hey, somebody watching Michael, or the receptionist in the school program. I was lucky that I built relationships. So that's the other skill that it took for me to realize there was something more there, that I couldn't just give up. Was that I had people in school that actually helped me, like my counselor. His name is Dave Prince. To this day, he probably thought I was one of the best people because I had a kid and I was still going to school and I was still working hard. Angela Roberts, who kept Michael when she was a baby. I'm talking about a baby in the car seat when I had to go to school and I couldn't get her to daycare because I didn't have a car.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she would watch her. The other students, Michael was like the community baby.
Oh,
Okay.
I love it.
He was 2, 3, 4, up in school. And I also had to learn patience, because I graduated a year after I would have, because I took 2 quarters off. After I had her and finished that quarter, I took 2 quarters off. I was already a quarter behind at that point, so it put me a year behind. But at the end, I went on to get my master's degree. Now I only graduated that with a 3.6, and I was pissed off about that, because
we
I was
not. We're not.
I was like, I didn't want anything less than a 3.8, and I got a 3.6. But look, I was pissed. I was like, Leanne, you could have done so much better.
Well, let me say this: 3.6, 3.5, 3.8.
Average. Don't try and make it better. It's average.
Okay,
It's at grad school.
average is 2 point something. Okay,
not in
that's
grad school, not at
yeah,
University of
grad school, right? But here's the thing: you accomplished something with the odds completely stacked against you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the audience to understand that even when the odds are completely stacked against you, you can still be successful. I
Yeah.
want you to let me tell you what I wrote down. She said she was resilient. She had to become organized and structured. She had to start trusting people around her because you cannot do it alone,
That's
right?
right.
She had to build relationships. She had to have patience. And I'm going to tell you something that she didn't say, but I know she had to do that to get through this. She had a lot of self doubt.
Oh,
At
definitely.
some point, she had to forgive herself.
Yes. Give
Okay.
yourself grace.
We look at, why did I let this happen? Doesn't matter. That baby is here. And guess what? The only person she can depend on is the one that's holding her at that moment.
That's
Okay.
right.
And so when you look at the circumstances that have happened to you, you have to understand there's things that happen to you, they happen around you, but they do not define who you are.
That's
So
right.
as we celebrate and recognize Women's Equality Day, sometimes you have to understand that you got to lean on it. You got to lean on somebody. You got to learn to say, this is something that happened, and now I have to just get better. I have to recover from it. I have to move forward. That baby became her reason to do better.
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. You know,
Okay.
and not just my daughter, but my aunt's kids. They were like my children. Um,
Right.
Michael grew up with her cousins like they were brothers and sisters more than cousins. If you all knew now, people would be so confused with the familial structure, you know, in my family. They would be so confused because all the kids call her Auntie Mike, even though they technically are her cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but that's how our family has always been. And what I would say to people is yes, we are left with a lot of trauma. We have trauma that's dumped on us purposely, and some trauma that's dumped and left with us, not in a malicious way, but that's the best they could do. That's all they knew. Still left us
Yeah.
traumatized. But you have the responsibility to yourself first to heal from that and to find that strength to one, forgive yourself first, forgive those people, even if they don't care anymore, even if they act like they didn't do anything. That forgiveness piece is for you so that you can move on with your life. Because trust me when I say this, if you don't, it will come up over and over and over again in your life. And it makes it hard for you to have that resilience. It makes it hard for you to give yourself grace. It makes it hard for you to take those steps necessary. But even with all that, you still can. It's just putting one foot in front of the other.
I love it. And so, what I want to, if I think about, there are many situations, Lord have mercy, they'll be coming out to trust and believe. But one of the things that I do purposely is to be a support system, to create an environment where women can share and they feel comfortable sharing some of the intimate details that they don't tell some of their closest friends and family because of fear of judgment, criticism, and mind you, some of the people that judge and criticize, their situation is just as bad, if not worse.
Mm-hmm.
Women can be the hardest on each other, but let me tell you, what I know is that the right women in your circle will tap in to see how you're doing. They will check you,
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're okay. They will stand in the gap when you cannot say a word for yourself. They will pray over you. They will pray for you. They will cheer you on. And that is what comes from being in a good and a right community. So I
That's right.
want you to understand that this goes into the mental toughness that you must have for the challenges ahead. You must have mental toughness. So let me tell you one of the hardest times. Um, they say divorce is like a death, right? And you're tearing up a family. You're separating people who at one point vowed for better or for worse. Okay. And that for some of us, that wasn't our experience in our divorce. We celebrated. We were delivered from an affliction. Okay. We were delivered from an affliction that we probably should have never been in. Let's start with that part, because someone say, you can't meddle in other people's marriages, because what God put together, let no man put asunder. But if God didn't put it together, somebody meddle up in it and help them folk out. But that's a topic for a different story, a different session. Okay,
right.
Different session. Hold up. Ooh, child, let me fan that one now. Let me fan.
Got a little hot over there.
Let me fan that little, about to digress for a moment, but let me fan that one out. But imagine being a parent, 2 children, you just had a fire. One of your children is on life support. You have significant burns yourself. And your mother sitting in the hospital room saying, what are you going to do? And you don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the scariest moments in my life. My son was 3 years old. And because of his age and the burns that he had sustained, they put him in a medically induced coma.
Mm-hmm.
Burned all across here. I was in a Ronald McDonald House, and a nurse would come and she would do a scraping of my head every day, sometimes twice a day. And one day, Leanne, she came in there and she scraped off, and this whole eyebrow came on. I snatched and said, "Get it back. I need that." I tried to reapply. She said, "Ma'am, that's not how that works."
That's how that works, ma'am.
I need my eyebrows. I need my eyebrows and my edges back. But I was grateful for my life and the life of my daughter. Okay. But at that point, I had no idea what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. And I had to make a decision quickly, because based on his recovery would determine how long we were at the Ronald McDonald House, and, him being in the hospital. And so I spent the next 2 to 3 weeks trying to figure out do. And it was the hardest time. Let me say that. It was the hardest time. But when I say when your back is against the wall and you got to come out swinging, because those 2 little children didn't have anybody to depend on but me. They only had me. And I only had me. And if nobody else got me, I got to have me.
That's right.
So formulated a plan, but it was in that experience that I always vowed to have a plan B. If this don't work, this is what I'm gonna do. If this don't work, this is what I'm gonna do. Always. I never wanted to be in that feeling, have that feeling again. Okay. And so we took a side step. I had to move back home with my mother. And that was the hardest 59 days of my life. I probably would have rather give birth to a baby with no Novocaine again. Okay. And then no epidural, and my teeth pulled, no Novocaine, all of the things, than to spend those 59 days and the determining factor is when my children stood between me and my sister trying to determine whose instructions they was going to follow. I knew then it was time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Time to go. And so took advantage of some social services. Okay. And I'll tell anybody, if you're ever in a position where you need the help of social services, look at it as a hand up and not a handout.
Exactly.
Because your tax dollars at some point paid for it. And if you've never worked, when you get to work, your tax dollars will reimburse them for what they did for you. And then you pay it forward. Okay, you pay it forward. That's why I do, anytime I do community service, Ronald McDonald House is going to be the first place I stop. Always. A women's shelter and Ronald McDonald's House. Always. And so coming out of that mental toughness really was always have multiple options. Now I'm gonna tell you, Leanne, somebody told me that if I got to have a plan B and a naked plan, another plan, that means I'm not trusting the Father upstairs. No, I trust him wholeheartedly. My plans don't always work out the way his do. So I'm gonna have me an A, B, C, and D if I need to until he has come to fruition.
That's right.
That's the role that I take. So I want to remind the women. Now, listen, gentlemen, I know there's some men in the audience, and we totally appreciate you. Wealthy Women Lifestyle is defined for and by women. But the information we share, the tips and the tricks and the resources, you all can benefit from too. Whether it be for yourself or for the lady in your life, whether it's your mom, your sister, your daughter, a good friend down the hall, around the corner, whatever the case may be. So we welcome your presence here because we know that as we support you as the head of the household in your rightful place, it benefits us as well. So I had to learn to make sure that I always know, just like if I'm driving home from Dallas to Chicago, I could run into traffic that take me off the highway. That's a plan B. You got to reroute. You got to know another way to go. And so for ladies, I want you to always understand there's nothing wrong with asking for help as long as you ask for help from the right people. There's nothing wrong with trusting someone who's been in your situation, as long as it's the right person. And over in the Wealthy Women Lifestyle in the Facebook community, that is the atmosphere that I create. They will tell you I don't play over there. I don't play by my chair. 900 of them. All 900 of them. What'd you say, Leanne?
That's how you have to be.
Yeah, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to create a safe environment because I know what it's like to not have that. And so this week, we are going to focus on developing your mental toughness to get through this month-long savings challenge as well as a financial fast. Now, I really wanted to do it in August, but it's time to go back to school. Y'all spending like crazy anyway. So September is going to be your recovery month. And so the concept of the 21-day financial fast by Michelle Singletary is, I love this resource. I don't know if you've ever read this book, Leanne, ever done this financial fast with us, but when I say a principle a day for 21 days, the concept is that if you do something for 21 days, you create a habit.
The habit.
Okay, it becomes a habit. And the reason that we do it multiple times is to help reinforce the habit, And so I couple the two together because it's not a no spend challenge. Like you're just not spending on anything. You're getting very intentional with what you spend on. Okay. So you're going to pay your bills. Hello, somebody. You're going to pay your bills. You're going to pay your, let me say that one more time for the people in the back. Pay your bills, okay? You're going to pay your bills. But what we look to focus on is the unnecessary spending. Lynn, you know, we got some entitlement spending out there, right? We got some, okay, we won't point no fingers at nobody, okay? But sometimes we get into these little situations and I feel entitled because that's my money and I made it and I'm gonna spend it, okay? I ain't gonna point at nobody, you know, I ain't gonna single nobody out, okay?
We won't do that.
We won't do that, but it happens. Some people do it, okay?
You see a really good deal, and you're like, you know, I couldn't buy this without buying this because this was a really good deal.
Listen, I tell them all the time, unsubscribe from all those websites that are your Achilles heel. Get rid of them. Just unsubscribe. Bath and Body Works, we done divorced so many times, but we keep seeming to reconcile. We keep coming back together, especially when it's that birthday month and something free and all those things. Mm-hmm. They just know how to say the right thing. But anyway, so I got my advice. I don't care about yours.
Everybody has what their thing is.
So, but our challenge in September is really about your mindset. Okay. Let me tell you something about having good people in your circle. So this was my experience just today. So as a business owner, you know, I focus on things to help my community. But as an emerging leader in my workplace, those skill sets spill over in there. And so I've been pushing and introducing myself and networking and doing all the things because there's an avenue that I really want to travel in my workplace. And so it's been like, oh my gosh, I take 5 steps forward, 25 steps backward, or even maybe 10 to the left or the right, but it's never always on track. So I called someone yesterday and I told her, I said, I'm done. I'm through trying. It's getting to be too hard. It's almost like the man who's standing on the beach trying to mop up the ocean and then actually literally squeezing out. You're not gonna get anywhere. And so today I got a phone. She said, really? She said, well, call me back at the end of the week. I said, okay. So I got a phone call through our Skype messenger. And just a long story short, because that is posted on my Facebook page. And she basically said, well, we sent you an invite for an interview today. I don't have no interview today. What are you talking about? She said, okay, did you submit? I said, yeah, I did. She said, well, I sent it to you on Friday. I said, which Nicole Johnson did you send it to? Because it's a couple of us here. One is in headquarters. I'm in Dallas. I forget where the other one, I think she's in DC. And when I first started in 2009, the one in headquarters would say, I think this email belongs to you. I guess she didn't get tired of forwarding me my email 15 years later, but that's another conversation, okay? So the lady, she tried a couple of different times and then she finally got it right. And she said, we look forward to having a conversation with you tomorrow.
Good.
I called my friend back. She said, don't ask me no questions.
Right, don't ask me nothing.
She said, Nicole, you are doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, what God intended for you to do. But I had to step back and realize that his plan and his timing is not my timing. Mm-hmm. And even in my frustration, even in my aggravation, even in when things are not working the way that I think they should be working, or even when I don't see any process, I got to trust him. And I can't give up. I can't give up. But somebody in my circle interceded on my behalf. And then I left my desk. I went in the hallway, and I'm standing in the hallway. You know me, this emotional 4th of July kid. I wasn't crying, Leah. I was snotting in the hallway like a baby. I grabbed tissue before I left my desk. Okay, be clear about that. But it really just was a reminder that when you put good seed in the ground, you will reap what you sow. If there's no seed there, there's nothing to reap.
Exactly.
So I have to get through my own I have to keep redeveloping my own mental toughness. Oh, yeah. Okay. And that comes from having a circle of people around you, which is why I stand in support of my community, because I know what it feels like to not have that support, but I also know what it feels like to have that support. Leanne is one that if we go more than a week without talking to this, it's something wrong. Somebody sending up a Hail Mary. We were in a program together. They labeled us the Purpose Twins. And then when we came out of that, we named ourselves, and we had to bring in the founder of Cityscape Radio and KCCR and Brownstone Worldwide. And now we're the Purpose Triplets. Okay. Triplets. And we can tell some stuff. And then I got a few other people in the circle that I can say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And someone will say, girl, have you lost your mind? Are you out of your mind? Right. And then some of them are, so they call me on my mess. Trust me, just like Nikki called you on y'all, I get called on mine. Trust and believe. And I appreciate that, because I don't want to be around here in a facade. I don't want to be in a facade. So I want you to understand that your mental toughness has to keep being revitalized day in, day out. So when you come into, when we have our Zoom meetings, I finally figured out, because Leanne will tell you I'm not a tech girl. But I finally figured out how to upload a video so that in the waiting room they have some motivation. Okay. One thing that they have to say is that they recognize that I'm a masterpiece. Leanne,
Right.
how often do people say that? Do you hear that every day? You
Most
don't.
time people are not going to say that. I mean, even if you ask someone to list their 5 favorite people, they're not on their own list.
They're
They
not on
always
their
think
own
of other
list.
Well, because you're always conditioned to think of someone else first. But the first
You're
person you
not
should
on
always
the
say
list.
is yourself. I'm my
That's
favorite
right.
person.
Hmm. Because even though you're handling mess, right? It may not be organized the best. It may not be flowing the best, but still and yet you keep it going, and it couldn't keep going if it wasn't for you. This is why I'm so concerned about the caregiver. You know why? Because the caregiver is taking care of everyone but themselves.
But they self. Yeah.
Okay. So they're making sure you ate. They're making sure you're clothed. They're making sure you got some rest. Well, baby, when the last time you got some? 4 days ago. Baby, good night. Good
Mhm.
night. So mental toughness. And here's the thing. Some of you don't know how to develop your mental toughness. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do it by yourself. You don't. This is what the wealthy women lifestyle is about. So when I ask people, what does financial freedom look like? And they give me, it looks like this, it looks like that. But then I turn around and ask them, what does financial freedom feel like?
Mhm.
That's a totally different answer. It
Oh,
doesn't look like what it feels like. So, Leanne, if I had to ask, I know what financial freedom looks like to you, because we about there, we about there. But what does it feel like to you?
um, it feels like you understand the purpose of money, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you are lower to middle class, the purpose of money feels like a stress reliever. I can pay my bills. I can, you know, leverage credit to buy these things that I could normally not afford, right? When you have financial freedom, what it feels like is I don't worry about, did my mortgage get paid? Did this bill get paid? I don't have to worry about, are my lights going to get cut off? Is there going to be food on the table for my kids? Right? Do I have to live in an unsafe neighborhood because that's all I can afford? Right? Financial freedom feels like safety. It feels like warmth. It feels like self-love. It feels like I'm not concerned about those things anymore. I'm more concerned, my things are, it feels like I know money is here to make me more money,
Mm.
right? Not to pay these regular, I don't have to worry about those, right? So that's why I say it feels like comfort. It feels like safety. It feels like love. It feels like health, right? It feels like how you feel when you got those your new school clothes, right? When you got the new school clothes and you got them outfits that first week and you done wore all of your outfits the first 2 weeks of school. That's what financial freedom feels like. Because to kids, they have financial freedom. They don't worry about those things,
Right.
right? And so that's what it feels like. And it may feel different to different people. Financial freedom to one person may feel like, I'm at the top of my career,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I feel like a boss. I feel like I'm blah, blah, blah. The other person, it may feel like, their feeling is, I'm able to take care of other families because I am an entrepreneur and I am a real boss. I have employees, right? So it feels like an honor. It feels like a privilege,
Yeah. And
not a responsibility and a weight.
yes. And so for the audience, if you get a chance, type in the comments and tell us, what does it feel like to you? Because part of what I stress when people come into the community, um, as a business owner, you're always looking at, who are you trying to help,
Mhm.
right? And in that gap of people that I'm trying to help, that I want to focus on, financial freedom is different for each of them. For example, Cynthia, when Cynthia came to me, she was a few years before retirement. Okay. I have a mother and daughter client where the daughter is in her middle to early 30s, her late 20s, early 30s. And she's got a 6-year-old. At that time, she had a 6-year-old. And then there's mom who's in her 50s. So we're talking 3 generations. And of course, the child, the 6-year-old, is not learning from me, but she is learning from her mother and grandmother based on what she sees them do. And so, even though our ultimate goal inside of the community may be different, we're all traveling on a roadmap together. And I have the ability to be able to sit down with each of them and say, here's how we get to your goal. See, I grabbed this blanket when you say it feels like this thing's so warm and soft on the other side, right? And here's what I'll say for me: financial freedom feels like peace.
Mm-hmm.
When I can sleep at night under this blanket and I'm not tossing and turning. I don't have stress and anxiety about what's coming next, right?
Right.
Um, it's peace of mind knowing that the things I'm responsible for are taken care of. And so for someone, that's my retirement fund being fully funded. For someone,
Mm-hmm.
that's my child's education being provided for. For someone, for everybody that's listening, watching, catching on a replay in the community, all 900 of those people over there, it's different for everyone. For one of my ladies, and she doesn't mind me sharing, when Benita came to me, she wasn't taking her medication. She was not taking her medicine. And I'm like, why not? And so we restructured some things, and now we get medicine at the mortgage, the car note, the car medication. Okay. It has a priority. And so when you start looking at and defining what financial freedom looks like to you, then we can work on how you achieve it so you can understand what it feels like.
That's right.
We talk about developing your mental toughness. Some of the things that we have to face is the people that we've been a crutch to. Oh, wait, hold on. I ain't flagged that one real hard because that's going to be a sensitive moment. Okay. That's a sensitive moment for somebody. So I give a small clack on that one. Okay. A light clack.
Light clack. We're gonna fold it out. I ain't gonna clack it. I'm gonna just fold it out.
Right. We're gonna be a little gentle with you, okay? But I'm going to be persistent with you because let me tell you what I have seen, I have experienced. Nicole, let me borrow. Well, no, because I have to do. Well, if you do that this way and you do that this way and this way, then you can have that for me. But if you could figure out my problem so that I can help you, why you can't figure out your own so you can help yourself?
Yep.
So no is a complete sentence. And that is a struggle. That is a struggle for some of them because your mental toughness will not allow you to say no to your children. It will not allow you to say no to that loved one. But what you don't recognize is that you are helping and supporting to your own detriment. And so we talk about mental toughness for the challenges ahead because some of those challenges are going to be the people you love. Yes, I said it and I will say it again.
That's
The
right.
challenges that you face, that you're about to face because you are changing. Let me tell you something. It takes tenacity, it takes courage to change and shift gears from what you've been doing year after year after year after year. And when you make those changes, you got to be mentally strong because somebody's going to be offended by the way you are now supporting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
That's a hard one. Okay, that get a hard one right there. But Leanne, you know what? The flip side of that, because this is a heavy topic, right? That's a
mhm.
heavy topic. But you know what? When I can say, hey, Leanne, let's go to Puerto Vallarta for 2 weeks, when you are financially free and stable and all those things we just talked about, your first question will be when we leaving.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't say how much it costs. I said when we leaving. That's a different lifestyle, but that comes as a result of developing our mental toughness for the challenges and the changes that we're going to go through so that we can have the life that we want. Sweethearts, I want you to understand, ladies, gentlemen, all of you who are listening, who are catching this on the replay, who are hearing this as they say, as you sweeping up in the kitchen, please understand. Mental toughness is a benefit for you. It's a protection for you. And when you start answering, and I mean really answering to the wealthy woman lifestyle, you're going to start finding that your circle will change. And I
Mm-hmm.
to be mentally tough to be okay with it. You got to be mentally tough to be okay with it. Doesn't mean you love them any less, doesn't mean you like them any less. It just means that the association that you've been having will shift. And you've got to be okay with that. Okay. So as we start this challenge, really this what I'm going to do the rest of the week is we're going to continue talking about developing your mental toughness for the challenges ahead. Okay, because it is going to be a challenge for you mentally, and for some of us, I'll put myself in there, emotionally. It's going to be mental toughness that needs to be developed because when I realized that, there's some things that I want. But when I go on this 21-day financial fast and my focus is on savings, I have to really stop. And everything that I pick up, is this a want or need?
Exactly.
Being financially fit, being financially free calls for a lot of discipline. And what I know is that a lot of you will exhibit discipline when the right people are around. But what you do when it's just you is what counts even more.
True.
That's what counts even more. So we're going to talk about your mental toughness when it comes to your health. Okay, when it comes to your health, because those extra snacks we be sneaking in the middle of the night. Am I only talking about myself? Okay, I'll take that if that's what you want to say. Liar. If that's what you want to say, liar. Okay, I know you do because when ain't nobody looking, you tell me for real, what's going on. We've got to get our health in order because I don't want you to spend your time building this wealth and then somebody use your wealth to bury you.
That's right.
Those things don't make sense. Those things don't make sense. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so, Leanne,
Yes.
let me ask you this. With some of the challenges that you have faced, right? If you
Mhm.
just pick one, and when you got through that challenge, how did you celebrate getting to the other side of the challenge?
Um, I mean,
Or did you?
one, no, I mean, I feel like you always have to celebrate the wins, big or small, right? Because what happens is we get so used to not celebrating, to just moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing, right? So my celebration might be taking myself on a trip that I've planned for and saved money for. And, it might be buying myself some new technology, going to a spa, or it might just be having a really good meal. Like one of the things I do is I take myself out on a date, and it's my own personal date. Nobody else is allowed to come. And I typically go to Fogo de Chao. I've been trying to branch out and go different places, but that's really my favorite place. It's a Brazilian steakhouse here in Atlanta. And to me, that's one of the things that I do to celebrate is I will do something that's just for me, not for anybody else, not in service of someone else. That is just for me, by me, whatever. Right? It might be a solo trip. I might not even go nowhere. I may just go to a hotel that's in the city and have a staycation. Right? There's all levels of things. Right? But I don't want people to think that it should be like, oh, I celebrated by paying off another bill. That's not a celebration. Do something for yourself. And it doesn't have to be something that costs you money too. Let me be clear. Mine gonna cost me money because I like a certain standard of living of things, but it doesn't have to cost you anything. Your one thing that you do to celebrate is I'm going to tell my husband to take the kids to my mother's house or the grandparents' house, and he's got to go and do whatever he's doing, and I get a night to myself. In the house by myself. I'm gonna take a bath, bubble bath or whatever. I'm gonna, read a book. I'm gonna drink some wine. I may dance around in my underwear. Who knows, right? But it doesn't always have to cost money to celebrate yourself. So let me be clear on that.
Yes. And so currently I have a group that I call my savings challengers. And so some of them, this was their first experience with me. And so the first thing we do is when we go around the table, okay, how much did you save during the past month? I saved X amount of dollars, but, and then the next person did it. And then I realized, I was like, hold up, let me try this again. And then I called up my experienced people who have been with me for some time. I said, okay, how much did you save? I saved X amount of dollars. The next one. I said, do you guys hear what they said? Because I'm not looking for a but. I'm looking for I saved X, period. Because the but that you spent it on could not have happened if you had not saved it. But we're so in a habit of looking for the but that takes away from the celebratory theme altogether. Mm-hmm. And so they know now, keep talking if you want to. She will mute your mic and put you out the room because that's not what we do. I saved this. And what they're finding is that part of it, in and of itself, just that little change makes them feel good about what they've done. Okay. So it is. And I love the fact that you mentioned a staycation versus a vacation, right? Mm-hmm. Because for me, Leanne, your girl is hooked on naps. And
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm hooked on naps. And so when I need to decompress, I turn all of this off. I turn this off. And I give me a hot shower or hot bath, whichever one. And I crawl up under them covers and let TV watch me. And when I wake up, it's no alarm that woke me up. Sometimes I have awakened and realized it said the clock says 6:30. And I'm like, Lord, am I late for work? Oh, 6:30 at night. It's still okay. As a matter of fact, it's still Saturday. It's not even Monday yet.
Yeah, it ain't even Monday.
And then I can get up. I can hit that refrigerator, and guess what I can do? I can go get back under that cover because all of this is off. And so whatever that thing is for you, I remember when I was in the candle business, I had a door hanger that said, "Do not disturb relaxation and progress." I found some of those not too long ago. And
Love
so
it.
recognizing what it is, I am very my sense of smell is I have a problem walking through the perfume section in the stores, or if I go into Bath and Body, I have to be very careful because too much scent and I'll be standing there crying. But once I find that scent that I love, oh my gosh, scent the pillows, the sheets, baby, I'm gonna have me a whole sensory party. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me get that. And I can go over there and get in that kitchen and make me what I want to eat and baby sit down
Mhm.
and relax. I will watch a whole season of a show I've seen 3 times and it's my business.
And that's
Okay.
okay. Right. That's your whole business.
That's my
Nobody
business.
said nothing.
So I want you guys to, ladies, I hope this was informational for you. And more than just a lot of information, I hope that something was said here tonight that was transformative because I want you to start understanding that you've got to develop. And mental toughness doesn't mean develop it once and that's it. No,
Oh,
you
you
got
gotta
to
keep
have
doing it.
staying and going power. You got to have
Mhm.
staying and going power. That's why people take girls' trips on a regular basis. That's why they have meetups on a regular basis because see when you are continually pouring into others you need to be poured into. Okay, so your cup is never empty because we then start to experience burnout, and once you
Right.
start getting burned out, it is a whole process to put yourself back together again. So let's replenish along the way so that we don't burn out altogether. All right. So, Leanne, do me a favor. Tell the people again where they can see you and the Wake Up Happy Sis show.
So you can meet me. Uh, just look up Wake Up Happy Sis anywhere in the world. You're going to find this beautiful black bald head. Our show is available on all podcasting platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We broadcast on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. But you can listen to us at 10 a.m. Eastern online and right here on KCCR Cityscape Radio. Um, yeah, that's what we do. We're here to help women live happy, healing, and fulfilling lives. And shameless plug, we do have a new anthology that we just launched, Gumbo for the Black Woman's Soul.
Oh, I love it.
And we are having a launch party tomorrow night, August 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you head on over to thegumboanthology.com, you can purchase a book, get information on the party. It's free to attend, but we do wish that you would check out the anthology. Support these new 10 beautiful Black authors, new authors. This is their first time publishing anything. And this is a book that's here to change lives. It's here to help Black women realize that there is community, that there is support, that you can make it through all those things. Like Nicole said, we have to have certain skills to get through it. And one of those is building community, just
Mm.
like she's doing at Wealthy Women Lifestyle. So make sure that you stay locked in there, that you come on over and visit me at Wake Up Happy Sis. You know, we're here to help you and to support you.
Thank you so much. And I'm excited about your anthology. I've watched your process along the way. And I've been in those late night, all night, late day, all day
Mhm.
sessions of how do I do what I'm going to do. And so to see the end result I'm so super proud of you. And I can't wait to see the next one. How about that part? I can't wait to see that. We're going to speak that into
20,
fruition.
yes, 2025. The 2025 version will be launching in about a month and a half. So
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And so I want you, as you pull things together for yourself, I want you to understand you don't have to do any of these challenges alone. You don't have to run a race by yourself. Tomorrow night on Tuesday, we're going to continue with our 5-day challenge of developing mental toughness. And I'm going to talk to you about what it took to get through 2 graduate programs at the same time. Short of, short of drugs and alcohol. Short of drugs and alcohol, it took a different level of mental toughness. And what, as you guys know, if you follow me for some time, everything is about a strategy, a strategic roadmap and process. And so I'm going to share that with you and how it got me to MPAJT. All right. So thank you guys for being here. Make sure you are joining us at the in the Facebook community. Just search Wealthy Women Lifestyle. Answer the entry questions. Come on into the community and get the support you need so that you don't have to continue these struggles and you can really find the support to understand how to define and achieve your dream of financial freedom so you can begin to live life on your own terms. I'll see you guys around Facebook and all the other social media platforms. I am the Nicole Johnson. Have a good night.